Most people try to change their life by changing the world. That's why they fail. The moment you win the inner game, the outer world has no choice but to follow. This is where real power begins. Win the inner game, and the outer world follows. Most people are fighting the wrong battles. They exhaust themselves trying to control outcomes, manipulate circumstances, chase approval, and wrestle the world into submission. They think success is out there in money, in titles, in applause, in numbers on a screen. But the truth they never hear is this: every outer victory is decided by an inner one first. Long before the world bows to you, your mind must stop kneeling to fear. Long before people respect you, you must command yourself. And long before success shows its face in public, it is built in private, thought by thought, habit by habit, decision by decision. History has never rewarded the loudest voice in the room. It has always rewarded the calmest mind under pressure. Look at Thomas Edison, ridiculed, dismissed, told thousands of times that his ideas would never work. The world saw failure. Edison saw feedback. Because inside him, defeat had no permanent address. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, lost business ventures, lost public favor, but he never lost belief in his purpose. The outer world rejected him again and again, yet his inner world stayed unbroken, and eventually the world had no choice but to follow the man who refused to collapse inwardly. This is the law of life. The inner game always writes the script for the outer world. Your thoughts are not harmless, they are instructions. Your beliefs are not opinions, they are commands. And your self-talk is not noise, it is programming. Every action you take is first approved by your inner state. Every risk you avoid is negotiated by fear inside your mind. Every opportunity you missed was lost before it ever appeared, because internally you were not prepared to receive it. This is why two people can stand in the same storm. One collapses, the other rises. Same conditions, different inner games. The world does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your identity. If you see yourself as uncertain, life will keep you weighing. If you see yourself as unworthy, opportunities will pass you by politely. If you see yourself as disciplined, focused, and resilient, the world slowly rearranges itself to match that frequency. This is not magic, this is psychology. This is Carnegie's timeless truth modernized for today. People are drawn to those who are internally anchored. They trust those who are not desperate. They follow those who do not beg for validation. Confidence is not loud, it is settled. And discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect in action. Every morning there is a silent negotiation happening inside you. The weaker voice says, delay, comfort, tomorrow. The stronger voice says, move, focus, now. Whichever voice you obey, that is the direction your life takes. Winning the inner game means choosing the harder right over the easier wrong again and again until it becomes your nature. It means doing the work even when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is watching. It means training your mind to stay steady when emotions try to hijack the wheel. The outer world admires results, but results are only shadows. The real work happens where no one applauds, in discipline, restraint, patience, and clarity. This is why overnight success is an illusion, because nothing solid is built without an inner foundation. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Ford was bankrupt. Carnegie started with nothing but an idea and an iron will. What separated them was not luck, it was not talent alone. It was control over the inner world when the outer world said no. When you master your reactions, life loses its power to derail you. When you master your focus, distractions lose their grip. When you master your emotions, pressure becomes fuel instead of poison. And slowly, quietly, the outer world begins to reflect your inner order. Respect shows up, opportunities knock, momentum builds. Not because you chased it, but because you became the kind of person success naturally follows. You don't win the inner game by accident. You win it by design. Every day, your mind is being trained, either by intention or by neglect. If you do not choose what enters it, the world will choose for you. Noise, comparison, fear, distraction, they are not random, they are constant. And the mind that is not guarded becomes crowded, confused, and weak. Dale Carnegie understood this before most people ever articulated it. The quality of your life is shaped by the quality of your dominant thoughts. Not the thoughts you have once in a while, but the ones you return to when no one is watching. The inner game begins with awareness, because you cannot control what you do not observe. Most people believe they are thinking freely, but in reality, they are reacting automatically. They are prisoners of habits they never consciously chose. They wake up already tired, not physically, but mentally. Tired of doubt, tired of hesitation, tired of telling themselves they will start soon. But soon is not a time, it is an excuse. Winning the inner game means reclaiming authorship of your mind. It means noticing the moment when fear speaks and refusing to let it lead. It means recognizing when comfort tries to disguise itself as logic. Fear is clever. It never says, "Don't grow." It says, "Wait." It never says, "Quit." It says, "Be realistic." And realism, when driven by fear, is just ambition with the brakes on. The people who change their lives are not fearless. They are simply more loyal to their purpose than to their excuses. Clarity is the next pillar of the inner game, because confusion is expensive. It drains energy, delays action, and creates anxiety. When your mind is unclear, everything feels heavy. But when your purpose is sharp, effort feels lighter, even when the work is hard. This is why the most powerful individuals are not the busiest, but the most focused. They know what matters, they know what doesn't, and they are ruthless about protecting their attention. Attention is currency. Where you spend it determines who you become. If you spend it on comparison, you become insecure. If you spend it on distraction, you become scattered. If you spend it on growth, you become formidable. The outer world rewards clarity because clarity produces decisive action, and decisive action compounds. Henry Ford did not invent the automobile. He clarified the process. He simplified complexity. He focused on efficiency while others chased novelty. And that clarity turned movement into an empire. Discipline is where most people misunderstand the inner game. They think discipline is restriction, but discipline is liberation. It frees you from the chaos of impulse. It frees you from the regret of wasted potential. It frees you from the emotional roller coaster of inconsistency. Every disciplined choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. This is why motivation alone is unreliable. Motivation fades, emotion fluctuates, but systems endure. The inner game is won when your standards become non-negotiable. When you no longer ask yourself, "Do I feel like it?" but instead declare, "This is who I am." Identity drives behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about refusing to let hardship rewrite your self-image. Every setback is asking you a question. Will you shrink or will you adapt? The people who win long-term are not those who never fall,
but those who recover without losing belief in themselves. They do not personalize failure, they analyze it. They extract the lesson and leave the emotion behind. This is emotional intelligence, the quiet superpower, the ability to feel deeply without being controlled by what you feel. When you master this, criticism no longer wounds you, it informs you. Pressure no longer breaks you, it sharpens you. The outer world respects emotional stability because it signals strength, not brute strength, but inner authority. People trust those who are grounded. They follow those who are consistent. They listen to those who are not reactive. And slowly, something changes. Doors open that were once closed. Conversations shift. Opportunities appear without you chasing them. Not because the world became kinder, but because you became stronger internally. This is the quiet paradox of life. When you stop begging for outcomes, outcomes begin to arrive. When you stop trying to impress, respect shows up. When you stop forcing, alignment happens. The inner game is not about controlling everything. It is about controlling yourself. And when that happens, the outer world has no choice but to follow.
The moment you realize this truth, everything begins to shift, not outside of you, but within. Because the inner game is never loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand applause. It works quietly, like gravity, shaping your direction whether you acknowledge it or not. And most people never notice it. They spend their lives trying to rearrange the outer world while the inner world remains chaotic, undisciplined, unfocused. That is why they feel stuck even when they are busy. That is why effort without alignment feels exhausting. The world does not respond to motion, it responds to conviction. Look closely at anyone who seems to command life rather than chase it. You will notice something subtle. Their pace is different. Their silence carries weight. They do not rush to explain themselves. They do not beg to be understood. They are not pulled apart by every opinion, every setback, every delay. This is not arrogance. This is inner stability. This is a mind that has been trained to lead rather than react. Dale Carnegie understood this long before the modern world tried to bury it under noise. He knew that the strongest influence does not come from force, but from presence, from emotional control, from a calm certainty that does not need validation. When you win the inner game, you stop leaking energy, you stop arguing with reality, you stop negotiating with doubt, and something powerful happens. Your actions begin to carry authority. Authority is not granted by titles, it is earned by self-mastery. Think of Edison in his darkest years, surrounded by failure after failure, mocked by those who measured progress too quickly. What kept him moving was not blind optimism, it was an inner agreement, a decision already made that quitting was not an option worth considering. His mind was not free to wander into defeat, it was disciplined to return again and again to the mission. That is the inner game at work, not motivation, but direction. Most people lose not because they lack talent, but because their mind is untrained. It panics under pressure, it fractures under comparison, it seeks comfort instead of clarity. But the mind can be trained just like a muscle. It learns what you repeatedly demand from it. If you demand excuses, it will deliver them endlessly. If you demand focus, it will sharpen. If you demand courage, it will adapt. The mind obeys the standards you enforce. This is where belief transforms into identity. Belief says, I think I can. Identity says, this is who I am. When your identity shifts, discipline stops feeling like punishment. It becomes alignment. You no longer force yourself to act. You act because anything else would feel unnatural. You wake up with intention, not urgency. You move through obstacles without emotional collapse. You understand that setbacks are not signals to retreat, but instructions to refine. And slowly, almost invisibly, the outer world begins to respond. Opportunities appear where before there were none. People listen differently when you speak. Resistance softens. Respect shows up without being demanded. Not because you changed your strategy, but because you changed your state. The world mirrors the level of certainty you hold within yourself. This is why gratitude matters, not as a soft practice, but as a grounding force. Gratitude stabilizes the mind. It reminds you that progress is already happening, even when results are delayed. It keeps ambition from turning into bitterness. Lincoln carried this quiet gratitude through the darkest chapters of a divided nation. Not gratitude for ease, but for purpose, for the chance to stand firm when history demanded strength. Adaptability follows naturally when the inner game is strong. You stop clinging to methods and start honoring principles. You adjust without losing direction. You bend without breaking. You learn without losing confidence. Failure becomes information, not identity. This is resilience, not the loud kind that boasts survival, but the silent kind that simply continues. And learning becomes a lifelong weapon, not learning for validation, but learning for expansion. Carnegie believed that curiosity keeps the mind young and powerful. The moment you think you know enough is the moment growth begins to decay. The inner game thrives on humility, the understanding that mastery is a path, not a destination. As this understanding deepens, something profound settles in. You stop trying to dominate the outer world. You realize you don't need to. Control was never external. Influence was never forced. Power was never loud. It was always internal, waiting to be claimed. And when you finally claim it, life stops feeling like a battlefield and starts feeling like a mission. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. You act with purpose. Not because everything is easy, but because you are steady. And in that steadiness, the outer world follows.
The real victory is never loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't beg for witnesses. It happens quietly, in the space where no one is clapping, in the hours where no one is watching, in the moments where quitting would feel easier than continuing. This is where the inner game is truly won, because the outer world does not reward potential. It responds only to presence, to certainty, to the invisible authority that comes from a mind that has been trained, disciplined, and aligned. Dale Carnegie understood this long before the world turned noisy. He knew that people don't follow words, they follow energy. They don't respect volume, they respect calm confidence. They don't trust chaos, they trust clarity. And clarity is born inside first. Look at Lincoln, a man who lost elections, businesses, reputation, yet never lost direction. While the outer world doubted him, his inner compass never wavered. And when the moment arrived, history listened. Look at Edison. 10,000 failures, they said. But inside his mind, there was no failure, only feedback. The outer world called him stubborn. The inner world called him faithful to a vision. That is the pattern. The world bans last, never first. First, the inner chaos must be silenced. The self-doubt must be challenged. The excuses must be interrogated. The emotional reactions must be replaced with deliberate responses. This is not positive thinking. This is disciplined thinking. You don't wait to feel confident. You act until confidence has no choice but to arrive. You don't wait for motivation. You build systems that function without it. You don't wait for belief. You earn it through repetition. Every day you show up when you don't feel like it, your mind learns a new rule. I can be trusted. And that single rule changes everything. Because a mind that trusts itself stops negotiating with fear. It stops asking permission. It stops looking for validation. It moves, quietly, relentlessly, without apology. And suddenly, the outer world begins to respond. People start listening before you speak. Opportunities appear where resistance once lived. Doors open not because you knocked harder, but because your presence carried weight. This is the invisible shift. The moment when discipline replaces drama, when purpose replaces panic, when clarity replaces confusion. You wake up different, not excited, not anxious, but grounded. You know what must be done, and more importantly, you know what must be ignored. Noise loses power, comparison fades, distractions feel cheap. Because you are no longer trying to win approval, you are executing a mission. And missions don't argue with comfort. They demand sacrifice. They demand patience. They demand consistency long after the excitement dies. This is why most people never reach the outer victory. They quit during the silent phase. They quit when results lag behind effort. They quit when no one is cheering. But this phase is sacred. This is where the foundation hardens. This is where character is carved. This is where resilience becomes instinct. Carnegie taught that success is not about impressing others. It is about mastering yourself so completely that others feel it without explanation. When your inner world is ordered, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Your voice steadies, your decisions sharpen, your actions align. You stop reacting, you start leading. And leadership is not granted, it is recognized. Recognized by the calm in your presence, by the certainty in your movement, by the way you remain unmoved when pressure rises. This is the moment the game flips. The world stops testing you because you passed the test when no one was watching. You don't chase outcomes anymore. You trust processes. You don't force respect. You embody it. And from this place, success is no longer fragile. It doesn't depend on moods or motivation. It doesn't collapse under pressure because it was built from the inside out.
There comes a moment when the inner game stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. You are no longer trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined. You are no longer working on confidence. You move with it. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are creating inevitability. This is the quiet transformation most people never notice until the results make it impossible to ignore. Because when the inner world is aligned, decisions become faster, doubts become quieter, fear becomes information instead of a stop sign. You don't argue with resistance anymore. You acknowledge it and move anyway. This is where self-mastery becomes power. Not power over others, power over impulses, emotions, and distractions. Carnegie believed that the strongest people are not those who dominate rooms, but those who dominate themselves. The man who can remain calm when insulted, focused when distracted, and committed when discouraged has already won the rarest victory available to a human being. Because the world can only test you on the level you have not yet mastered inside. Once you master it, the test disappears. You begin to notice something strange. Problems that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Pressure that once paralyzed you now sharpens you. Even failure loses its sting because your identity is no longer attached to outcomes but to execution. You don't ask, what if it doesn't work? You ask, what's the next correct action? And that question changes everything. History does not remember those who waited to feel ready. It remembers those who acted while uncertain and learned faster than their fear. Ford didn't wait for approval. Disney didn't wait for permission. Lincoln didn't wait for comfort. They moved with incomplete information, under criticism, through uncertainty. Not because they were fearless, but because their inner game was stronger than their doubts. And now the same invitation stands in front of you. Not to be loud, not to be flashy,
not to be admired, but to be unshakable. To wake up with intention instead of anxiety, to work with focus instead of frenzy, to speak with purpose instead of noise. This is how the outer world begins to bend. People feel your certainty before you explain it. They trust your direction before they understand it. They follow your lead because it feels grounded. You didn't demand respect, you earned it silently. And the most powerful part? You no longer need validation. You no longer need reassurance. You no longer need to prove anything. Because you know who you are and what you're building. The inner game is won when you stop needing the world to tell you you're on the right path. You just keep walking, step by step, day by day, decision by decision, until one day you look back and realize the outer world followed because the inner world led.
This channel isn't for everyone. It's for those who choose discipline over excuses.